Today I'm here on the Dolores River in beautiful western Colorado. What a great setting, and we're going to use it to talk about why you should open up your own childcare center and why there's never ever been a better time to do so. Real quick, here's a couple shots that didn't make this video. They even have a young, what a great no. All right, cut out that. Here we go. Come follow me. Then this is the channel for you. There you go. It's pretty cool, huh? Childcare is recession-proof and looking to be pandemic-proof. It is a critical business. Every community relies on it. Recognized these days as critical, an essential part of our economy, essential part of every community. What a great industry for you to get involved in, whether you have a passion for children, for your own children, for your community. What a great opportunity to get involved and be in charge of your own business. So, glad you're here. This is episode 1 of a huge series on how to open up your own center, how to get your feet on the ground, how to be profitable, be successful in a business that you can have so much wonderful gratitude and reward in. Families all across the country, all across the globe, rely on quality childcare as an essential part of their economic future. Let it be part of yours. Take financial control, be your own boss, open up your own center. I'm going to show you how. So dive in, follow this series. This is a multi-episode series covering all kinds of facets of tricks and trades on how to open up your own center. I've always said that childcare seems recession-proof. Back in 2008, when the housing market crashed, we found that it took literally our program about 2 months to recover. 2 months. Financially, people took decades. Businesses were taken out in some cases. But what I found back then was, because the markets had dropped in the housing market and affected all kinds of industries, situations where you had one parent working and the other not, both parents had to go to work. What does that mean? A family that had their children at home now needed childcare where they didn't before. So whereas some lost their jobs, others were ratcheting up their employment needs and opportunities and bringing their kids back into care. In an essential industry, some might say it's a necessary evil when it comes to the mighty dollar that they spend on childcare. I tell you that for the children in our program and children around the country and the world, early childhood education is vitally important to the success that they're going to have socially, emotionally, cognitively, academically throughout their life. This is documented over and over again. Between 0 and 4 is the most critical stage in a child's life and brain development, social development, and who they are, and what a great opportunity that you have to impact that in a child. So what amazing opportunities we have in this industry. All right, why now? Because right now in April of 2020, we're at what may be the first tail end of this coronavirus, COVID-19 pandemic, and as of today, 50% of childcare centers around the world, around the U.S., are closed. So why would I say get in now? And even if it's a year from now or 2 years from now, all of these beliefs and philosophies that I have still hold true, because it's never been a bigger time where entities are recognizing the criticalness and the support of early childhood. So let me speak to a bit about why you should consider opening your own childcare center, and then we'll talk about how. This is going to be a multi-part series, so if you follow along, not only do I want to provide you with a little bit of inspiration, because I think that you're sitting here because you already have that. You've got some motivation, you're curious, you've got time, experience, knowledge about our industry. But what is it going to take to push you just to that over the edge to get you started, get your feet wet, jump in? Hopefully these will be some tips to help you do that. I say get in now because the timing can never be better. It is a tough business to run at times, and so therefore there's a lot of turnover in centers that aren't run properly. So it's critical you have great systems, good mentor, and good business strategies to run your childcare center. So get in now, because what is going to happen is that most of those centers that are closed right now are going to reopen. We've got PPP loans, we've got other economic development loans during this situation to help us get over this gap, bridge the gap between now and a month from now or two, when everybody can reopen and hopefully get back to normal business. But there's going to be some centers that close that don't make it. And that is your opportunity to step in, help that previous owner execute their execution plan, the termination of their program, and open up your own. We're going to talk in many different episodes about different components. One of them is going to be location and money. Where do you open up your own childcare center, and how do you finance it? And what I can tell you is the best key, the best tip I have is find a location that is closing, that is just closed, because that is the easiest way to re-renovate, modify, upgrade, and get up and running as fast as possible. Not only that, community members already recognize that facility, that location as childcare. They're going to be looking. They're going to wait for someone to turn the lights on, and that should be you. So location is critical. We'll talk more about location in a different episode. I want to talk about some of the things that you're going to have to accept and do as you begin starting up your own center. Number one, you're going to work long hours. These 8-hour days, they're gone. You're talking 10, 12, 14-hour days, and that might last for the first 6 months, 9, 12, maybe 2 years. It's going to take you for anywhere from 6 to 9 months, in my experience, to really get a good takeoff in your childcare center. And it might take a year and a year and a half to level off. And again, that's all going to depend on what kind of programs you have in place, what kind of systems and strategies, what kind of a toolkit that you have to run your center. And when speaking of toolkit, check out the treasure chest where we've got lots of tools for you to get started. Now let's consider the different roles that you're going to play in your childcare center. You're going to be HR. You're going to be hiring, onboarding, terminating employment, working with challenging employees. Your employees are going to be your toughest challenge in your business. They're also your greatest asset, more so than the children in your family, in your program, because your employees are who you are going to work to empower, train, and support. They're the front lines in your center. So recognizing that if you are good with people, you're good with negotiating, you're good with diplomacy, you're good at keeping the peace, this could be a great asset for you to be handling employees in your program. Recognize also that if you're a softie and you continue to offer forgiveness after forgiveness, this is going to be one of the biggest struggles in your center. We'll catch that whole topic in a different episode. HR is one of the things that you're going to be involved with heavily. Marketing. Childcare is very, very unique. We don't need billboards. You don't need ads and phone books. In fact, who uses a phone book anymore? You don't need to advertise in your high school sports program. You don't need to be spending money in marketing. The biggest marketer, the biggest advertiser in childcare are the parents you have in your program. And childcare marketing is all about networking. I've always believed that 8 out of 10 children that enter into our program, they are in our program now because of another parent that was in our program that referred them to us. That was so huge 10 years ago. Today, that's still very true. However, things are starting to change with just getting rid of phone books and pulling up your iPhone and looking for childcare in the area and looking for reviews and locations. And that's what we'll talk about again in a different episode, is marketing. But if you are social media savvy, through a Facebook page, through a website, through a Google page, we'll talk about those later. But there's simple, no-cost, low-cost marketing in your business. But you're going to have to be a marketing specialist. You're going to have to learn to sell. But if you've been in this business, in this industry for a while, you already know how to sell, because you sell your children on great experiences every single day. And all you have to do is show and explain those experiences to families as they're coming and checking out your facility, going for a tour, and the salesperson inside you will blossom. You're going to have to be the finance manager. That means you're going to have to do billing, you're going to have to do collections. That's fun. The biggest attribute I believe you can have to starting your own business is leadership. And there's all kinds of leadership. There's good and bad. If you lead through control and micromanaging people, this is going to be a struggle. But if you lead by setting example, if you are the shining star in your facility and program, you can take this, your early childhood professional career, and take it to the next level by being your own boss. And what a great opportunity. I grew up in a family that at 16 years old, my parents were full-time at Amway, network marketing, and so I had entrepreneurial blood running through my veins very early on. And I learned what BYOB stood for back then. And at 16, it didn't stand for beverage, was not part of that. But it was be your own boss and take control of your financial future. And I learned about time leverage and leveraging yourself through the efforts of others. And that's what you're doing when you're opening your own center, is you're going to leverage yourself through other people. You're going to, by presenting other opportunities and employment opportunities, you can take a week off and still get paid. Because if you're in the early childhood field, unless you've earned some PDOs, some paid days off, then unless you get up, put on your shoes and go to work, and you put on your other stuff too, of course, but get to work, you don't get a paycheck. But if you, by owning your own business, you have the opportunity to take financial control of your future and be able to create your own schedule. You can stop putting in for time off, and you can take it whenever you've got your ducks in a row back at the center. One of the biggest influences for my wife and I of starting our own business was a place where we could raise our children. We had 3 children at the time. Kim had 2 girls. I had one that we brought to the party together. And then a couple years later, we had a boy. So our 4 children have literally grown up in the center. What a great opportunity for them. They all work in the center still today. We did a fun video about working with family. We'll put that up in the corner here too for you. You can find that out later. But what a great opportunity to work with your family and have a place where your children can literally grow up from the toddler room all the way through. So that is a great opportunity to share with your loved ones. What kind of experience do you have to have in education to open up your own center? Let me tell you what you don't need. You do not need a master's degree in early childhood education or a bachelor's. You don't even have to be a director. Now, the more education, the better, I say. But experience and leadership is key, because there are ways that you can go from lead teacher with 2 to 5, 6, 10 years experience to receiving your director qualifications. There's online courses, there's courses through your local colleges, but you can work toward your director certification, and in the meantime hire a director. But it is absolutely critical you have a director on staff. It's licensing and it's critical. So get your director certification absolutely as fast as you can if you don't have it already. Now, I talked a lot about what kind of education you need to have and open up your own center. The other concept is, who is your partner? Are you a business partner of one, or do you have your spouse? Do you have another business partner or early childhood professional that you're going to go into business with? And if you do, hopefully you've aligned, you complement each other's weaknesses, and that's critical. Kim, my wife, she had years and years of experience in the classroom, and I had years and years of experience in business. So naturally, I fell into the office, she fell into the classroom, and there we found our niche of where we would focus our attention. And we would just be advisors to each other to cross over. Now, occasionally some toes were stepped on, occasionally some words were said and some tears were shed, but we made it through 16 years now and running strong and finding what our strengths were. So surround yourself with others that have strengths that maybe are weaknesses of yours. And some of those strengths can come from your staff. I've got one of my toddler teachers, and she's great at IT. So anytime the computers go down, the printer doesn't work, technology's failing, we go in there, and my director comes out, goes in the classroom. Jen comes out and jumps on the computer and gets everything back and running for us. You don't have to be an expert at everything, but you do need to be able to think about where you can find those resources, those individuals that can help you. Your parents, you're going to have electricians, plumbers, mechanics to help you with vehicles or help you with the plumbing in your facility. And you can trade out some of those services. So there's so many ways that you can leverage your skills in your business, and you're going to have to, because to be an expert at everything is really challenging, right? Consider who else you're working with in your local market. Now, we live in Mesa County, Colorado. That's on the western slope of Colorado, and Our county has been critically involved and engaged in early childhood for the last 5 years. They took over the licensing contract from the state of Colorado, so they manage our licensing, they manage all of our health, they always have there, and they have been very, very active in the last 5 years. And in the last 2 years especially, they have launched a tremendous campaign called Childcare 8000, and they are focused on the health, wellness, and growth of early childhood providers in Mesa County. And so we have a phenomenal partnership here in Mesa County. They have pilot programs for centers that want to open up. They even have a child care consultant that centers can reach out to for help on anything in their business. And that guy is, he's around here. Oh yeah, that's me. And, but what a great location and setting to open up a child care center. So talk to your local government, talk to your county, see how they're involved in the child care industry. What are they doing right now to support childcare? Talk to the health, the individuals that are in charge of health inspections. Talk to licensing in your local market and get a feel. Go visit a few centers and talk to them about their business. Find a mentor locally that you can visit with and partner with. Network. If you're working in a childcare center, talk to your director, talk to your owner, tell them your aspirations. Maybe they'll be interested in expanding to a second location. That's how we ended up in our second location, because we had a teacher that was very interested in expanding and taking on a center herself. Now we dove in after the first week. She realized and their family realized it wasn't good timing, so we took it upon ourselves and we opened our second, just Kim and myself, and expanded that way. But network in your local community is critical in helping you find a great home. So I really hope you follow us in this journey. This journey is going to be multi-episodes covering lots of things. In the next episode, we're going to talk about two topics: location and financing. Where are you going to open up your center, and how are you going to afford purchasing, renting, equipment, all of those. So I'm going to give you many, many resources and ideas on how we did open up our centers and how we found our locations. And we're also going to talk about creating a business plan. What is that going to look like? How many kids are you going to have in your program? How many staff are you going to have? What is your total revenue that you could potentially generate, and where are your expenses going to come from? And what are your biggest expenses? What could you expect, and how to manage some of those before even getting into day one of opening your center. Beyond that, we're going to talk about human resources and hiring, and where to hire, and how to advertise, and interview processes that we have. We've got some great tools that'll help you onboard staff and get them from a phone call and an email, hiring them remote on a Zoom conference call, till they show up and day one they are ready to roll. They're ready to jump right into a classroom with all the training and services, requirements, licensing, fingerprints, all of that completed with a simple email. But you've got to have a great onboarding process to make that work. We'll talk later about administrative tools and strategies. We'll talk about logistics like insurance, like legal assistance, and access to legal questions. Because you understand you're a small business owner, you're going to need legal advice, because you're going to have parents that are going to challenge you. You're going to have staff that are going to challenge you. You're going to have maybe government entities that are going to challenge you, maybe licensing. And you have disagreements with licensing, and you're going to need to be able to reach out at times and be able to have access to an attorney to ask questions. How do you get access to legal services at an affordable cost? I'll share that at a future episode as well. Grab your own coffee, your drink, what have you. Let's sit down and visit together about why there's never, ever, ever been a better time than right now to open up your own child care center. There's lots of different tools and videos that you can follow on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, put a comment on there on anything in your business. Let's say you've already opened up your child care center, anything you're struggling with or have comments on, please comment them below. That helps more people get to see these videos as we continue to promote our industry and early childhood professionals. So please comment and interact, but go to our YouTube channel at any time and look for a plethora of videos on different tools and strategies for running your childcare center. This series is focusing on what are you going to do step 1 through 10 on going from ground zero to getting your childcare up and running and accepting parents. So get used to that. Then we have in our industry. Put that last part.